Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Chantele. And we're here to talk about episode 5 of the Challenge USA. In Tyson, we trust.
Oh, but do we? But first, if you're new to this channel, please click subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. Chantele, this is an interesting episode because they hint and then they don't give us a lot. They just jump to the arena, but it's fun.
I mean, I really like this episode.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just kind of a full episode. It had all the drama. It had partners not working out together. It had people doing well in the challenge and not doing like. It just was like it was good to watch. You didn't really know what was going to happen. You had your ideas of what was going to happen. It kind of was not that way at all. And then you have people biting off bats and like being really weird and aggressive at the end. So it was a very full episode, I found.
It was a bat, not a turkey leg.
Well, yeah, Tyson said it was a turkey leg. I was thinking it was a bat, like Ozzy Osbourne, how he bit the bat on stage. Like that's kind of what I was going to.
All I was doing was laughing at little Leo, just like a rag doll attached to her as she's like jumping around. That was the funniest thing I've ever seen. He's just like attached to her. But let's start at the top, guys.
Yes.
That's the end. I'm sorry. Can you hear my dogs like hacking something up? I'm so sorry.
No.
That's on the sound. All right. We're going to start with our pairs. Danny and Angela. I was like, ooh, this is a solid duo. Then Derek and Kayla, who I'm like, oh, actually, this is actually a very fun duo as well. David and Alyssa. Tyson. That was more like that. Tyson and Cachet. Enzo and Kira. Kyland and Shannon. Dom and Desi. Cinco and Azza, which I was like, yeah, give my girl a strong man. Ben and Justine. Leo and Sarah.
I mean, these pairs are pretty good. Like, there's a lot of opportunities for have winning teams. Like, a lot of them have at least one strong person on the team. So, I wasn't sure who was going to win. I thought that Danny and Angela had a really good chance. But then I was starting to think, I'm like, oh, wait, we saw the preview. It's a swimming challenge. And I was like, oh boy, Cachet and Tyson. I'm like, is this going to be Tyson's fall from grace? That she's literally going to be an anchor that's going to prevent him from winning, and maybe they'll be last and go right into the arena. So once I was remembering that, I was starting to get nervous that there's all these strong teams and Tyson has Cachet.
Right. How a water challenge changes everything. Except actually not everything. Derek and Kayla, we're going to see here quickly, do a little chat. Just don't want to get last.
Cute. Exactly.
Okay. Then Ben and Sarah, touch and base or connecting here. And we kind of get...
Through hair braiding?
Yeah. Good on you, Ben. Good on you. They trust each other from Survivor. Their Survivor relationship is solid, good, not as close with Tyson. And you're like, okay, here's where we're getting into this.
What's your feelings towards Ben and Sarah from Winners at War? Like, were you down with the fact that he gave up his game for her and all that stuff? Like, what was your thoughts around their duo-ship?
I don't mind it. I definitely didn't love Ben as much in Winners at War. I remember being slightly disappointed. But I individually enjoyed Sarah when she first won, and I enjoyed Ben when he first won. So overall, what was it? What did you say?
I said the Ben bombs? Sarah, I guess we didn't know each other back then.
We did not. We did not.
You weren't rooting for Chrissy?
I mean, I was rooting for Chrissy, but I was very entertained with what was going on with Ben. And it was partially other people's fault. And it was just, I definitely was supporting Chrissy as well. But so I don't know. I think all of this is fine. And I'm just interested to see how, because we are learning relationships from past shows, past experiences are bleeding into the current show.
Well, and I would think that would be expected, right? Like, it just because you've gotten over it, because like it's usually the person that did like the bad deed or whatever that like got that one or got the person out or whatever. It's like, I got over it. They should have gotten over it. And it's the person that got like done wrong that's like, I haven't gotten over it yet.
No.
And so I would expect them to be coming back with a bit of a vengeance, or just like, have one eye on them to be like, I'm not sure if I fully trust you because I have done you wrong and you could be bitter about it. So let me keep you close, but like not fully trust.
Right. And if you did me wrong previously, I have to keep my eye on you. Like you've proven to not be loyal. So it all makes sense. Yeah. Cachet doesn't like Cinco flirting.
It's understandable.
It is. It's tough to be with your ex.
And it was a fresh breakup, if I'm not mistaken, when they both went on the show. They're not used to a high pressure situation like the challenge, because their show, yes, there was pressure, but it was like choosing who you wanted to couple up with. It wasn't like, death defying acts that they needed to complete for money and having a lot of money on the line. So I think that also that kind of pressure is getting to how she's viewing their relationship and who he's flirting with.
Right. I mean, it's, they're not together, so he can flirt. But it is going to be hard to see that. I agree. But Cinco in this moment is like, look, I'm game focused. Like, I don't got time for this. I want to be on the challenge and I want to play the challenge. And that's what it seems like at this point.
Well, he's clearly hasn't watched enough of the challenge, because these type of things can ruin your game. Like, if you have somebody that you aren't getting along with that gets into some sort of power, they can easily put somebody in that can take you out. And so the fact that he's not even thinking about just nurturing his relationship with her, whether or not they're together or not, but realizing that she could be in a powerful position. He could need her at some point. And so alienating that relationship, not good. Not game.
Oh, yes. Well, then Tyson and Sarah, they're going to check in. And they're saying, like, you have to expect the worst, kind of like what you were just saying. But is it Tyson who's saying pull them in and make them feel comfortable? And then he says he's too old to bamboozle.
Exactly. I mean, Tyson is a lot better at playing the we're good, man. We're good.
Oh, yeah,
and be like, we're not good. Not at all.
He's like, well, I'll see how I feel in a couple minutes. Right now, we're good, of course. Yeah. No, I love that he was too old to bamboozle. I was like, Tyson will be 75 on these
bamboozling.
Bamboozling left and right. It's in his bones. Can't help it. All right, here's our daily barreled treasure.
Did you like
the name? Love it. Love it. I've loved all of these names, actually. They're right at my level of like corny. I like them.
They're very corny. Yes, they're good.
You got to swim out really, really far. You got to memorize a code. You got to swim some more, open a barrel. You got to go back, swim some more, do it again, the whole shebang. Then you get to do your puzzle. I feel like the best swimmers, this is a lot. This is exhausting.
Yes, it's definitely tiring, 100%. But like the part that it should be able to do that was easy was memorize the code. Yeah. And make sure that you open up one of your two barrels to get your puzzle pieces out of. I feel like that's the part where you can excel, right? Yeah. Like even if you're tired, you can make sure you do that right.
Yes, and if you're one of the people who are not a strong swimmer, you definitely want to do that part well, right?
Because you want to make up time.
Yeah, you want to. Okay, this is really funny. People who can't swim. It shouldn't be funny, but it's funny, right?
It is funny. It's a trope for the challenge too. There's a lot of people that come onto the show that just can't swim, and it's like, and so some of them have taken lessons though. Some of them have taken swimming lessons to get better at the swimming portion, because they've lost like finals before because there's a big swimming portion of it, and they aren't able to compete with the people that can swim very well. So I will give it to them the fact that they didn't know that far in advance that they're going to be going on the challenge and that they need to take some swimming lessons. But if they ever come back on again, they better know how to swim. At least a little bit.
Right.
How do you not know how to swim? Like, it's still wild to me that it's not just like a prerequisite of like a life skill, you know?
I agree. It blows my mind to see adults not knowing how to swim, but I have to remind myself, I grew up in the state of Florida. It is surrounded by water. We are in the water immediately after being born. So there are definitely people who grew up in states that don't have as much water. I don't know, I guess. But it's very odd to see grown adults like doggy paddling. They have the life jackets on.
It's so easy,
and they're just
I think.
flailing.
I mean, I'm not the best. I haven't had to swim in a long time. I'd rather swim up to a swim up bar as opposed to like really go and do some laps. But like, I definitely took like my bronze medallion. You know what I mean? Like, I took some swimming lessons. I learned how to dive. I don't know. I haven't dived in years, but like, I probably can still dive. I know how to tread water, probably for not that long, but I still could. And if I needed to swim somewhere, like I can swim from point A to point B with or without life.
Yes.
And if it's a life jacket, I think I would use it as a like a float, like a flutter board, and just like kick it. That's probably or maybe not. I don't know what would be faster, but
whatever's the fastest. You might like try a few things. Ozza said she only had 6 days. She did not realize she was going on this show.
Heard this.
I did not know that. So that. She's not out doing swim lessons preparing for this. 6 days isn't going to cut it, but she definitely can't swim. We see Kayla and Derek flying through. They're both fast memorizers. They're up on there. They got their barrels. They're flying out. They are just killing this challenge, and I'm so excited.
For both of them. Mm-hmm.
Right?
Especially because Derek, it seemed, because he was just with Sarah in the past challenge, and Sarah was kind of berating him a little bit, not thinking that he's a strong partner. So it would have been nice to see him like get to the end, win with Kayla. You know, he's done somebody that's supposed to be physically strong, and so yeah, like I love the fact that he was in the front for most of this challenge.
Yeah, it honestly would have been so great for the two of them to win because they're both probably not seen. Kayla's definitely looked at as an underdog, but probably Derek as well, right? Leo, we're seeing just a lot of Leo struggling in the water here. Tyson is pulling Cachet. Now, at least they have a strategy.
Yeah.
Tyson's like, I am going to do all the swimming, get on your back, kick those legs, and he is dragging her.
That's so smart. She's just like, I'm the motor and he's just gonna tug me along. And that was, it doesn't look like it's working, but it was working. Like, I can't believe how fast that they were able to swim, because it just seemed like someone just being like, like just swimming like this, like that would be so exhausting.
Yeah, I think he was exhausted. I think he was, but these sort of long endurance things is his jam. Cachet is going to immediately touch a barrel. You could not touch. It wasn't like an open.
It was touch. Okay, I couldn't understand because like I forgot to rewatch that part back, and I was like, what happened? Like, how did she open the barrel? But she just touched it to look at it?
I think she might have like just leaned on it as she was walking by, kind of thing. Like, she just put her hand on the top, and they were like, that's it, go back. That's why then everyone's like arms up, walking along them, because it was very, very strict. But of course, Tyson's like, go back. They have to like...
But like, it's like you're the weakest, one of the weakest swimmers. Like you like, even physically, it's so tiring to have to go and do an extra lap because of the fact that you touched a barrel. Yeah. Like, woo, Cash. Yeah, you're with Tyson. You can't like make Tyson lose here. I'm like, what's happening?
She was embarrassed and like felt really bad. And I hope she like apologized quite a bit. But what are you going to do in this moment? And Tyson's like, let's go. You just cannot stop. Keep going. And obviously, this is going to pay off for them. We see Derek and Kayla in first place as they're getting the second barrel. And then we see that Ben and Justine are in second. That's exciting for them as well. And then Kiki shows up again because she's going to kill Danny for his performance here. We love
frozen. You might be.
Oh, am I?
Yeah, a little bit robot voice.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, you might be back. Okay, you're back now. So you said Kiki shows up and?
Kiki shows up. She's going to kill Danny for his performance.
Well, it's for the fact that Angela, Superwoman, is like just pulling him up the side of the ledge.
She's like, can I lift you? Can I pull you over? He's like, I am a professional athlete. And this like skinny little girl's like, how can I help you? Oh, that was pretty funny. And Enzo, like it doesn't seem like Enzo is a very strong swimmer. I guess he can technically swim, but he is a struggle bus here and not doing well here. And he wants to climb down the little rope, and it's like, just get in the water.
Oh, I thought it was Leo that climbed. Did Enzo climb down the rope as well?
Yes.
Like that's another thing too. Like it's so much easier just like to jump outwards. Like that's like you know, a foot and a half that you don't have to swim.
Exactly.
Unless you use the wall or whatever the surface to push off of. But like, I don't know, these people, their strategy around this was very, very wrong in my opinion for doing well. You know, I think that even though climbing down seemed easier, I think jumping in the water is a lot faster.
Sarah is showing off her jumping skills while Leo is climbing down the net, and then he's latching onto her back as she's swimming.
But like she did a front flip into the water. Like I couldn't roll my eyes any harder, I don't think.
Yeah, then, that wasn't a flip to like you were just saying, jump out, save yourself some time. And she was like, no, I'm just gonna do some tricks.
Yeah, I was gonna show off here because like my partner's climbing down the rope and I'm gonna berate him for like not being a good swimmer, so I'm gonna do a front flip.
But when Leah was latched onto her back as she was swimming, I was like, I can't. This is so funny. Like, is it mean to laugh at this? But it just looks so funny.
It's not
to have like a grown adult, just like a child latched onto your back, like mom is carrying you. Oh, it was so funny. And then we were watching some people get up there and do the puzzle, and then what? All of the sudden, Tyson and Cachet win? What?
I was floored. I was like, wait, oh, they're in this? Because like at that point, so it started off with just having those two teams that were working on the puzzle. It's like, okay, so one of those teams are probably going to win. And then more teams were on the platform working on their puzzle. Then all of a sudden, Tyson and Cachet are up there working on their puzzle. And then all of a sudden, they're like, pop, pop, pop. Okay, TJ, here's the horn blow. What?
Like, that wasn't a hard puzzle. You could finish it quickly. I just don't understand how multiple teams didn't get it. Tyson, meanwhile, is the most exhausted he's ever been, and he's throwing this puzzle together in seconds.
After doing an extra lap over every single other team?
Right. I don't know what happened.
How far ahead of him would he have been if they even with Cash being the anchor? How far ahead would they have been if they didn't have to make that extra lap? That extra lap made them still be competitive with everybody.
Exactly. Thank goodness they had to go back for an extra lap. Otherwise, they would have blown everyone out. Like, what was the point? Everyone just slow down and just don't be last. Don't kill yourself swimming. You know?
Well, maybe what ended up happening was because everybody was so not strong that Derek and Kayla were able to kind of set the pace as to being not that fast. And so maybe that's kind of what happened, because if Tyson was there, the pace would have been, and they didn't have to go back the extra time, the pace would have been a little bit faster, I think.
I don't know, but I am heartbroken for Derek and Kayla at this point, because it would have been so good for them to get this. But here we are. Tyson and Cachet. Tyson winning again. We're going to finish. We have to wait till the last person, which is kind of exciting since we haven't had that. Azza and Cinco, Kira and Enzo, Sarah and Leo are our last three. But it is going to be Cinco and Azza who finish in last place. Because Azza is just doing more praying than swimming at this point.
It's really, I feel bad watching Azza because like she's just so thin and she's just being like pulled around like a rag doll and she just looks exhausted and like I'm just like, I don't know if this is the world for her because like I'm stressed out watching.
I know. Like what? It's not. Oh my gosh. I don't think she has much muscle. She's so skinny. It's just, I mean, clearly she can't swim. And so she's just like doing her best here. And Cinco seemed very supportive of her and was like really, trying to help. But I guess he wasn't able to pull her like Tyson did. They seemed like they needed to be separated. Like yeah, he might not be. Mm-hmm. Oh, so all right, poor Cinco and Azza. They're going to definitely go into the arena here. But Cinco at this point is worried that Cachet is going to manipulate. So he is telling Azza we can't give her ammo.
Which is the dumbest thing ever. Like, okay, I get it. Like, you're like, oh, I don't want my ex-girlfriend to have any ammo on me, but like, wrong game. Like, it's not you trying to not give any ammunition to your ex-girlfriend. This is you figuring out who you can get her to throw in for you in order for you to have the best shot at staying. So,
yeah,
okay, fine. If you don't want to give her any information, you can still have a strategy of some sort to giving a name. Because, like, maybe if you know that she will never give you who you want, then maybe you throw out a red herring or whatever, like a name that is not the real name that you want, just to maybe distract them and go in a different direction. And then maybe they will give you who you want. Like, I just feel like they didn't put in any effort strategically in order to get them the person that they would be best at beating. Instead, their strategy was to not give Cash any ammo, and it seems like the ammo would be for later on in the game, but like how is it even a factor if you're not going to be in there? Because if you give them nothing, they will do what they want, and that might not be helpful to you. So I thought it was a really dumb, personally.
Right. I hear you. I'm conflicted on this. So in this deliberation, what they show us in the edit is like, you want money? You got a weak team you want, and they're just like, I don't know.
We haven't thought about it. Really?
Not, and they're kind of just like, wait, what? And they have no names here at this point. When I talked to Cinco and Azza, they didn't have, or at least what they were saying is they didn't have a team that they definitely wanted to go against. They did mention getting, who was it to money? David and Alyssa.
Alyssa.
David
that
and
would
Alyssa.
be the person they should have been pushing for that duo, for sure. Or Kayla and Derek X. Not that they have that much money, but they have a little bit.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't mention Derek and Kayla. I was like, don't go after them. But for money reason, they thought David and Alyssa, but Azza said no one could keep their mouth shut. Everything was public knowledge. So you say David and Alyssa's name in deliberation, David and Alyssa are going to know that.
1 second. My TV just turned on. I'll be right back.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Go ahead. That's what she was saying in the exit interview, which I felt like was a decent reason to keep your mouth shut if you really feel like Cinco is a strong partner and that you could beat most teams. If there really isn't like, oh my God, we're a weak team, I need this one other weak team to go after. If it's not that situation and you're kind of fluid and flexible on who you could go against, then I can see just keeping your mouth shut and not giving anyone ammo. Because what if she ends up saying Alyssa's name and they both end up still in the house and now Alyssa's coming for Azza?
But like, wouldn't you maybe say like, I don't want to go against Sarah as Ozza? You know what I mean? Like, you don't
Yeah.
need to say who. You could be like, listen, there's some strong people in this game, and I don't know who I want to go against because I don't know which team would be best, but I know who I
Yeah.
don't want to go against. And I would be like, I just don't think that like if it's something strength for strength, I think Sarah wouldn't be somebody that I'd want to go up against. And like maybe just
Mm-hmm.
go that way of being like and compliment these people, being like they're super strong. I wouldn't want to go against them. So if that gets back and around, it doesn't look bad on you. It looks like, okay, like you are kind of protecting them from going in against you because you think that they're strong. And so
What
I
if
think that
you
they
think you can beat Sarah?
if Ozzy thinks she can beat Sarah, then
I don't think
fine.
Ozza thinks that, but I think Cinco thought I'm a match to Sarah and Ozza is a match to Leo.
But
That was my hunch. I'm not.
hmm.
They didn't say that, but I think that Cinco was confident he could beat most people.
Well, I mean, maybe Cinco was, but I think Ozza should have put her foot down and been like,
Mm,
the team that I would be least confident about going up against, and I think Sarah should have been one of them. Like, yes,
yeah.
Leo might be an anchor that partnership, and not many people want to be in a partnership with him. But I think that Sarah is a strong competitor, and that
Hmm.
she would be able to carry the weight for both of them in most situations. So
Yeah.
I would have definitely said I do not want to go against Sarah and Leo.
Right. Yeah. I think I would have definitely been like, here's my list of people I don't want to go against. You
Exactly.
figure it out from there, please. Uh, we see Derek and Kayla a bit concerned that they might go in. I too was concerned. They probably should have gone in. And then we see Sarah just frustrated with Leo. And I have to imagine this is a big part of this decision was because Sarah just talked so poorly about Leo.
And that's the thing that I don't know if it's just what they're showing us in the edit, but how she's handling all of her partners, it just made me really not enjoy her as a presence on this season. And it's like, okay, yes, Leo is a bit of a jokester. You know, he doesn't take it seriously, and like I'm a few things to say about Leo and his game strategy because like, how does he not realize the fact that people are kind of not wanting to be partnered with him? But I would have preferred to see Sarah as somebody that was trying to like help her partners do better instead of just like going around and berating them and going around and saying that they're too forced and how like how amazing she is and how terrible her partners are. It's kind of like
Yeah,
I don't know, make your
it
partners better.
is. Right. It makes, yeah, I mean, like that's what Tyson's doing. Tyson is getting all types of partners, and he's like, to win, I have to bring them up to my level. Right. And yeah, Sarah's just like, oh, I didn't even
And
fully get to compete because he's dragging me down.
on the main season, so you're wondering about I think you were asking me about why we don't like Fessy. Fessy is kind of like a Sarah on the main show. So he thinks that he is the best, the best, the best, the best, the best. And no partner that he ever gets is good enough. And he just berates his partners the whole time and it's like, oh, they're not good enough, they're not good, they're not good. Even when sometimes his partner is the one that wins the challenge for them and like they win, he doesn't give them any credit for it. Like he's kind of like a Sarah in that he thinks he's so amazing and nobody can ever match up to his level of awesomeness. And he's not that great.
Not surprised. Not surprised to hear that at all. Well, Kayla's going to do the winning move for
Mm-hmm.
this episode. She is going to have a little chat with Tyson. She'd like to talk more game with him. Hey there. And she kind of plants the seeds about Ben being frustrated that Tyson's winning everything.
And I also thought that this was so good. I'm like, Kayla, I love anyone with some strategic chops. I mean, I think she missed her opportunity to get into a strategic relationship with Tyson because they didn't win the challenge. So they were partners together for trivia, and trivia is a little bit more of a crapshoot on like whether or not you can
Mm-hmm.
win that. And so she didn't really get her opportunity to be strategizing and start that relationship with Tyson. So I'm
Right.
really happy that she saw that, hey, he's somebody that I need to get in with strategically, and maybe missed my my opportunity here. And so I love that she took some information and gave it to the right person in a way that wasn't too like overt. It was like, it was a nice little slide in. Like, I don't know, it might start with a B.
Right, just a little touch. And I think that the actual information, I don't think, and maybe I'm misreading the edit, but I think it's not that big of a deal, right? Like Ben's frustrated because he's not winning, someone else is winning. It's a kind of normal human thing. I don't think it's equal to Ben being like, I'm coming for Tyson, right? But it doesn't matter because all you have to do is say, yeah, there is somebody frustrated. And then Tyson can just take it from there. And Tyson
like,
takes it to a place of, well, I would like to get Ben out.
Well, of course. I mean, I think that he's been waiting for an opportunity to be able to take Ben out or weaken Ben. I don't think that he plans on working with Sarah and Ben in the final, like until the end. Absolutely not. I think that, it's kind of like know where your enemies are, keep them in front of you. Survivor strong until we're not. And like, I think they're all kind of waiting for who's going to strike first. And so,
right.
I think Tyson's liking getting some ammo so that he can make the first strike.
Well, Ben is paired with Justine, so Cachet is not down with it being the two of them.
And neither is Tyson. So I haven't finished it yet, but a bit of his recap on his channel about this. And he said he gamed the algorithm by anybody that had any money or like the winners, that we wouldn't go after each other, wouldn't go after the winners. And so that it would prevent people with money from wanting to turn on other people with money. And so that's kind of also how Justine was protected as well, because she has won and had some money, and he doesn't want to start making people want to go and try to steal people's purses. So
okay, well, so that just takes us straight to the arena, and I was like, oh no, we didn't get more of this edit. This is gonna be lit. We of course have Azza and Cinco coming in, and then Tyson is gonna give it to us. He chooses Sarah and Leo, and Desi goes, oh.
Did you see that? I didn't. Oh my god, I want to see it now.
She goes, oh. Like audibly we heard an oh, and she did a little and I loved it. Yeah, some Survivor people were shook.
I mean, I get it, like Survivor strong, but we're like probably around halfway through the season at this point. There's gonna be Survivor people on teams where you might want to get out the other player, unfortunately. And
well, Big Brother's already been doing it, so jump on board.
Exactly.
Okay, here we go. Sarah and Leo. Oh, they mentioned no one else wants to be paired with Leo. They're going to throw that in as a reasoning here. Like this is a good chance to get Sarah out.
Good reasoning, though, to be honest, because like the fact that she kind of put this on display, the fact that he's the worst partner to ever possibly have, and like she nearly lost the challenge because of her partner, and she's saying this to everybody, that it makes sense that people, especially people that are not strong in all areas, are not necessarily going to want to be partnered with him. And so it's a fair rationale that she kind of brought on herself, because she was just bad-mouthing him so much.
Right. It's so crazy to me that Leo is building this reputation, or that people are thinking this about him, because he's a legend in the Amazing Race world. 3 times he played, like he's a really good competitor.
But not, I mean, some of these things are not translating into
right. Yeah.
Some.
Yeah, I mean, it's a different show. It's a different, comps, everything. And he didn't have a whole team of people supporting him like the other shows did. He had 2 people from his show. So here we are. Leo's in a weird place. They're tied together. They're going into a dark container. They're taking different sized film reels and recreating the stack outside. Well, Cinco and Ozza are just going to go right into that dark container, and Leo and Sarah are going to come up with a strategy.
Yes, and I thought it was interesting that they waited till they were away from them to come up with the strategy so that they wouldn't be able to overhear what they were doing. So, can you explain to me what their strategy was? Because
4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, for sizes. So
for sizes. So they know there's 4 different sizes, and so they measured them to see. They used their fingers, and then they named that. This one's a 4, this one's a 3, a 2, and a 1. So that when they went into the dark, all they would have to do is say 4, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, whatever.
Got it.
Memorize that. Then that translates outside to what those sizes are. And it ends up only taking them 2 trips. I mean, the first trip, we see them come out with a huge stack. Meanwhile, Ozza and Cinco are like stumbling over each other, falling down.
And he's just like dragging her at some point. And just like, oh my gosh.
Grabbing a reel here, grabbing one there. They put like maybe 4 on their stack, and they head back in, and you look over and Sarah and Leo have like this huge thing already.
And I was hoping, I knew it wasn't going to be the case. I was like, maybe they made a mistake and they're going to have to go and figure it out. And it's going to be enough time for Cinco and Ozza to figure it out. But I didn't really see what Cinco and Ozza's strategy was.
Well, she said it was this. Which I have to laugh. You know, like if this is the real, she measured it like this. Okay, well, that's not, you know, this is accurate. This is a guess. Because then if the next one's like this, you're like, well, that one feels bigger, but you got 4 different sizes. So yeah, she was like
bigger, bigger.
Yeah. They started saying tiny, small, medium, large is what we started to hear them say. And I think she like made it like TS like at some point, but it's like by then Sarah and Leo have completed their stack and you guys are done. Yeah, she admitted that puzzles were not her strength, and obviously water as well, and just got the bum end of these challenges. But it's so interesting because we haven't seen this yet this season, right? Unless I'm having a brain fart, but like this is the first time someone has put in a challenger and the challenger win.
Let's see. So the first time it was Sally and Giovanni, they went out. Second one was Tiff and Cashel, they went out. Third one was, who's your third interview?
Tasha and James.
No, they were last, weren't they? Tasha and James were last,
right?
So and so it was Dom and Cachet that were thrown in. So they did win.
There you go. Mm-hmm.
And then episode 4. Why don't I remember these right now?
I know, right? I have to look. Who just went out last week?
Who'd you
was Xavier and Shan.
And they were thrown in.
They were thrown in. Right. Yeah. So Dom was the only other team that has done this. It just felt so dramatic. I guess because it was a survivor cutting a survivor or
just like the amount of like anger she had like coming back.
Leo's like
Tyson's on his podcast and he's like, there's nothing that's ever happened in my life that made me that mad at anything. Nothing can ever make me that angry about anything. I don't know why she's that angry.
She's hyped. I don't know. What's her sign? I can get hyped like that. I don't know that I've ever done this. I don't even know what this movement is.
That's slitting a throat.
Yeah. That's, I mean, if it was like this, but it was like a fist. So I was like, oh, I guess she's like holding a machete. Yeah.
Machete.
Oh, a strangle rope.
Let me find out her sign.
I definitely understand getting hyped up. She's probably got fire in her, but it's the sign to kill somebody. That's the part that I probably wouldn't do. She's probably like a Leo Scorpio moon.
Gosh, no, she's not gosh, but she's same birthday as my mummy. She is a Cancer.
Oh, she feels it so personally.
So
Yeah.
emotional.
Yeah.
Poor Tyson. It's just a little Gemini that just like he's just having
I'm just
fun.
playing a game. Yeah, he's like, I tried to get you out. I didn't get you out. What? Okay. Yeah, he like moves on.
You coming for my family? Like
no. Cache was like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. Like she was like, we can't go back in this house with her. Like, oh no. Which is also how I'd be. I'd be like, oh my God, she's coming for us.
I mean, this is the outcome that we want. Like we wanted this outcome kind of last week with Xavier and Shan for them to have won and come back in the house and have to face the music. And so we are getting this. And yeah, I wonder what this DART algorithm gonna do. Cause like, is it gonna put Tyson and Sarah together? Oh, there we go. I didn't even see this.
100% they will be paired up in episode 6, next episode. Like you just felt it in the energy. TJ's like, let's see what the algorithm has for us. And I'm like, I can tell you right now, it has Tyson and Sarah as a pair.
I mean, it's time for it Sarah anyway. And Ben and Angela. That's kind of what I was speculating. So it's like they can't go after their side pieces. Nope. Like they're both in a stance because I forget what the name of the title of the next episode is, but it's something about.
I don't know.
Let me find it. Sorry, go ahead. It was a turkey leg that got me. No, like I mean, I love the Tyson said it.
Yeah. No, I please just call it a turkey leg because that's just hilarious. But yeah, I mean, if they did Tyson and Sarah and Ben and Angela, that would be just epic, just challenge wise. But oh my God,
but it would just be so nice fun. That either team couldn't take a stab at each other because like they'd have to probably work together. Which I think is hilarious.
Oh, there was an argument before they got on the bus. Oh, Ozza said, did you hear in the interview with me? She said Sarah like was in her face at dinner like beforehand because they had kept their mouth shut, right? But Ozza had a feeling that it was Sarah. That's what Tyson gave her a heads up about. And Sarah was like, you got this. And was like in her face and also was like,
that was so Sarah of you.
That's what Ozzy did.
So the next episode is called A Civil War.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm thinking that it's like a stalemate. You know what I mean? They can't strike against each other. And so like they have to be civilized and go after somebody else. But yeah, that's why I'm guessing that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or Survivor does finally get to go against each other. I mean, it's
civil though. Why would it be civil? The Civil War.
Well, the Civil War of America was 2 parts of America. So if it's a Civil War of Survivor, it would be 2 parts of Survivor going against each other.
I was thinking that it was a little bit more of like a
civil as in polite,
like an oxymoron type thing.
Yeah.
So
right.
Like a little more punny or play on words, you know?
Right. Okay. I hear ya. I mean, even though it's like a lot of people, we're down to like how it feels like a few people just because they're being paired up and like how they get paired up.
I've definitely. I mean, somebody did tell me that, like, on the challenge wiki, the pairs are up. So, but I wanted to wait until after I talked about this episode before I don't know.
I don't want to be spoiled. I've avoided all of the spoilers, and I know there's a ton out there. Ben legitimately is getting all the Love Island girls. How is that happening? Because he mentioned that previously, and like
he just has Angela now, though. So that's. I mean, sorry, Justine. Never mind.
Yeah, Justine. Yeah.
No, he hasn't had Angela. Yeah.
No, sorry. He's going to get her this week. We're saying Ben and Angela. That's what we're saying. Danny and Angela could have been a good team if it wasn't a swim challenge.
I mean, they still ended up third.
Fun.
Did they end up?
Did they?
I think they ended up still doing pretty well. Or maybe not. Hold on. I have Ben and Justine were third. Angela and Danny were fourth. Yeah. So they still did pretty well.
Oh, that is great. Oh, good. Kiki's not mad at you. You did great.
I think it's just the seeing her pull him up.
That was pretty funny. She's like, here. He's like, oh
Let me
my
help
God,
you.
do not help me up, Angela. And it's a shame that we didn't get much of Dom and Desi, because that's an interesting pair, you know? But you can't see everybody in each episode.
No, especially if they're not impactful into what's happening.
Right. We love Kiki. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, David's still on three confessionals, I think, by episode 5, and he's also gone into an elimination and won. And he still has only had 3 confessionals.
I don't know that Ben has been paired up with Cachet unless it was like episode 2.
I don't know. I should just make a chart of who's been with whom, because I don't know off the top of my head.
I mean, I could go back at my notes, but my notes are long.
I don't know if that would be a good pairing necessarily.
Sarah makes a comment about Karma being sweet. Yeah, but you know, sometimes they say these comments and they don't happen, you know.
Because like she could be saying Karma is sweet by like who she's paired up with.
Yeah.
Right? Because like Karma would be sweet, her being paired up with friggin' Tyson. Karma on both of their ends.
Yeah. I'm checking Ben. He has not been. Ben has not been paired up with Cachet. So that could happen. Anyway. All right. Well, this was fun as always. Loving this season, loving this show. If you haven't watched the Azah and Cinco video interview I did with them yesterday, please go watch that. And then also, if you're watching Big Brother, this morning I spoke with the most recent evicted house guest. So go check that out as well. If you're keeping up with that show.
I am, because it actually got good.
Interesting stuff. It did get a little good, didn't it?
Yeah.
And I'm excited about this HOH. So not giving spoilers away here, though.
Right. Correct. Me too.
Okay. Well, thank you to everybody in the chat for joining us. And if you're joining later, please leave a comment how you're feeling about these pairs. What do you think is going to happen with Tyson and Sarah? Some good stuff like that. Right. And we might be back to our regular Saturday next week. We'll let you know.
Sounds like it.
All right, everyone have a good weekend. Bye.
Bye.